Because here is Brian Chambers. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style with the burnout. Oh, Sturgill sliding in to celebrate as well. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned.
I burnt the right front out again. So.
Oh man, keep your chin up because, completely different season. The next race you run is a complete race. And, you never know what can happen race to race. You could find yourself having a stroke of good luck and figuring out exactly how to drive these cars in the future. But before we let you go, man, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight? As Jonathan Hernandez comes out and takes the lead. Oh, we got lots of stuff going on here. Oh my god, there is death everywhere. Everyone got tight and have just gone up and slammed the wall. Boomerang shoes in that one, Jordan Lee. A lot of people just getting very tight there on the corner exit. It'd be almost easier. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Road America for the Champ Speed Shop 101 right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. Hope you're all having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening as we head into our second road course of the season as we start the countdown towards the chase. We are definitely heading into chase territory now. Gonna have some fun here while we watch the racing action unfold here on the road course. Of course, we've got the next gen cars, which should be a blast to watch. And so far, we've only got 8 times on the board, which is currently being head up by Thomas Harmon, a 2:15.12. So, slightly longer lap here for today's racing action. You see Travis Massio coming out of the pits. 50 of Christian Budd zooming past. And even though this race was actually run yesterday, this is live com today. Normally I'd pre-record this and we'd show it the next day, but we're doing live com today, so that way we can actually interact with you guys in chat. Just putting up a little bit of self-advertisement as we head on into practice here. So far, only 8 times on the board. Brian Pizzakemi now leading the way with a 2:13.54. Thomas Harmon P2, 1.58 seconds back, and then Christian Budd 2.15 seconds behind Brian's time as well. In third. So that's a 2:13.542. Not a bad time here in practice for Road America. See Christian Budd here heading into the carousel, turns 9 and 10. Got a couple of phantom corners on the track. Got turn 2, which is actually a straight. You got turn 3A, which I guess that's a little bit of a curve. Turn 4, which is, I guess, a little bit of a curve. And you couldn't even call them kinks. There's Travis Massio and John Lazelle on the screen. Oh, and Frank's got it all wrong in Canada corner. Straight off into the weeds he went. These guys now navigating turn 5. Such a heavy braking zone for turn 5. Big run up downhill to a quick stop. Oh, and around goes Thomas Harmon. And it seems he still hasn't got a paint on that car. Hopefully he'll get that sorted out soon, as some of the liveries are actually starting to come into view now. Frank Isaacson and 50 of Christian Budd. Frank currently 7th in the standings. He's just a couple seconds back from the time set by Brian Pizzakemi. It's not so much about speed with tracks like this, you know, the road courses, more about the consistency. As I guess we should probably put in an advertisement in the channel where it matters. All right, well, I think that's all the self-advertising I need to be doing here today. Now we're actually going to go jump into the voice channel. That way, if we need to, we can maybe do an interview or two. There's the 23, John Lozelle, Mark Pentecoff just ahead of him on track. And Mark off into the weeds. That's in the final corner, turn 14. Here is Mark Pentecoff. Mark didn't register a last lap time, did he? Oh no, he did, a 2:31.077. So not a lightning fast lap time there for Mark. Oh, and he's got it all wrong from the pressure of Mark Pentecoff, of Brian being behind him, sorry. Brian Pusakemi. See, this is what happens when we have a week off. I'd go to shit. Oh, it looks like Frank's got it wrong coming out of the carousel. That's just before the kink. There's Brian Chambliss, a handy steerer when it comes to road course racing. He likes to say that he's not a road course guy, but he definitely gets the results. These guys go tearing down the kettle bottoms. Couple more phantom corners on that straight. 11A and 11B after the turn 11 kink. But just having a quick little look at this thing. This track really only has about 12 corners. I'd say maybe 13 because, you know, there's a 13 and 13A. Oh, look at the pressure Pusakemi is putting on Christian Budd. This is in the carousel. As they go through turn 10, down towards the turn 11 kink. You see defensive line there for Christian Budd. Around the outside goes Pizakemi like it was nothing. Christian Budd now looking to get the draft down the Kettle Bottoms. Into Canada corner. Can't make the move. And off into the distance goes Mr. Pizakemi. There's the 66 of Sam Niederhelm. Oh, and it looks like John Lazelle's had a spin. Just behind Sam here is the 33 of Matt Horton. Wonder what it would look like if these guys were to do a pit party here. And if I start throwing some I ratings and safety ratings at you, don't take them to heart. That's just these guys' road ratings. And a lot of them don't do very much road at all. Travis Massey are currently on top at 2:15.12. I think Thomas Harmon's actually just 0.02 of a second slower than him right now. I don't know how that's worked. I don't think I'm getting the true times that these guys are getting right now. As you see, 3 of them coming out of the pits all at once, 4 of them even. See a little bit of pack racing maybe. But it also makes me a little bit sad because I don't see these guys doing a pit party. I also don't see our fearless leader, Mr. Jaron Sanchez. There's John Lazelle going for a tour of the grass. I was down at turn 5. The 33 Matt Horton was still down there. There's now only about 10 laps left of practice. Even though there's still over 20 minutes left, you're only going to get about 10 laps out of it. On the 21, Brian Chambliss went around. James Watson caught a piece of him. Watson at the moment, the only A-class driver who has actually started participating in practice. Pretty sure Chris Champeau has an A license as well. Christian Budd trying to hunt down Brian Pizakemi. Trying being the operative word. These guys are now navigating turn 3, which should actually be turn 2. Well, one car spun onto the infield there. I think that was a 23 of John Lozelle. As Matt Horton decided to take himself into the inside wall. Lozelle around the outside of Sam Niederhelm. Contact. And around goes Lozelle. There's Matt Horton in the 33 car. Horton actually still hasn't completed the lap yet. We've only got 9 times in. It's Masia, Harmon, Chambliss, Budd, Pizzichemi, Watson, Niederhelm, Lozelle, and Pentacuff. I see Frank Isaacson trying to look after those tyres as he's making his way around the track. That's the thing about road course racing, is that you don't want to buzz up your tyres too much. The more you buzz your tyres, the faster they lose grip. There's Frank now trying to catch up to Jonas Marquez. Oh, slide job. But Frank's gone too wide, he's in the gravel. And Jonas got back past him. Luckily, Frank didn't cause himself a mischief there. As now there's only 15 minutes left in practice, just about. Bring up the ticker for you guys to see. Pizzichemi's gone back to the top. Travis Masia currently P2, Thomas Harmon in third. Out in the grass a little bit went the 5 of Mark Pentacuff. This spirited little battle is continuing between Frank and Jonas. Into the kink. They both got loose. There's synchronized sliding there from these two. Jonas with a little bit of work to make up with here. There goes Travis Massia making a move on Mark Pentecoff now. There's Lozelle. Currently P7. And off into the weeds at turn 6 that one is for Sam Niederhelm. Not usually a place we see cars going off. I guess he was trying to use the uphill approach to his advantage. Oh, and then Jonas doing the exact same thing. There's Travis Massia, the Gladiator number 13. He's trying to catch up to Brian Pisakemi. But by all appearances, Brian's going to be very hard to beat. Ooh, and Mark taking the kink way too hard. Brings some mischief to both himself and Brian Chambliss. Pisakemi actually handling this track really well. Now we know that he's, a little bit of a road course ringer, kind of, sort of, not really, but, definitely been showing some improvement. He's even got some decent I rating behind him. It's nothing to yell and scream about. And it's less than what you have as a rookie, but, at least he's still around that point. And having a quick little squiz through the I ratings, James Watson, 2451 with his A-Class 4.91. He's actually the highest rating driver that I can see. The next highest after that would have to be one Mr. Chris Champo with a 1669. Nice. Oh, Sam sliding it through turn number 5. Oh, it hasn't worked out well for Sam. He went sliding in turn 5 and back into the sandpit in turn 6. Is John Lozelle trying to catch back up to Frank Isaacson once more. Also got Mark Pentecoff trying to hold off Thomas Harmon. Looks like Lazelle's going to get the advantage on Frank. Frank might have not had the greatest run out of the final corner. See Frank trying to go for a very attacking line there into turn 1. That's not going to work out for him because he has to hit the brakes a little bit harder to not spear off into the outside of the track. There's now about 5 laps left to go, maybe 4. Very tight little amount of time to try and get some laps to going. As Mark big time locks up in turn 5 there and goes off into the kitty litter. Keeps it off the wall. Keeps it off the other wall. Keeps it off the third wall. And then decides to pull the trigger and get back to the pits. John Lazelle, currently P8. As Matt Horton has slid up into 2nd place. So it's currently Pusakemi, Horton, Masia, Harmon, Chambliss, Watson, Isaacson, Lazelle, Niederhelm, Marquez, Pentacup, and Champo. To top 12 as they stand. I don't actually think John Lazelle's actually completed a lap yet. Oh no, he has. I see his name there actually. Oh, it's Christian Budd that I can't see on my list. That's who we're missing, Christian Budd. Doesn't look like he's completed a lap yet. Now that's very weird. Normally he's not bad at this kind of thing. As we're getting ever closer to the 5-minute mark. Means only just a couple laps to go as Matt Horton makes a move on Thomas Harmon in the carousel. I'm sure Thomas probably moved out of the way for him. And starts to fight back on the outside. Couldn't get the move made. Both of them using all the track there on the exit of the kink turn 11.
So I noticed.
And I totally forgot to mute the radio. So you know what I'm going to be doing when it comes time to do the qualifying? And iRacing's decided to crash. So we're going to take a quick break now and we'll be back with the starting grid. Welcome back to the Champs Speed Shop 101 here from the Road America circuit. And as you can see, qualifying is complete. On the front row, we're going to have James Watson leading us away, and on his outside will be the 50 of Christian Budd. At a P3, surprisingly, we're going to have the 24 of Frank Isaacson with the 2 of Chris Champeau on his outside. Road 3 will be the 33 of Mr. Matt Horton. And on his outside will be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Row 4 should have the 21 of Brian Chambliss. On his outside will be the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. Row 9 will be, out of P9 will be the 66 of Sam Niederhelm. On his outside should be the 13 of Travis Massia. And I kind of stuffed everything up a little bit, so that's what we're going to go with for now. We'll figure out everyone else as we get there. Pretty sure it's Marquez, Pentacup, and Lazelle wrapping up the field there. Kyle Kraus was meant to start up in the field a little bit in P6, but apparently he is not going to be there. So he may be starting from the pits. And remember, the first and only start will be on the leader. If we do get a caution because of a track blockage, then the restart for that will be, well, the first start is on green. If, and that's a very big if, we get any cautions, then all the restarts will be on the leader. We're getting ready to get the green flag here. Everyone getting all formed back up. 60 of Kyle Kraus is indeed electing to start from the pits. We head up towards the Canada corner. Field all nicely bunched together. There's already some mind games being played here between our top two. But here we go now, the pace car is in. Everyone is getting ready. Mark Pentacup starting very far behind everyone. And there we go, green flag is out. We're underway here for the Champs Speed Shop 101. Right here from the Road America circuit, and already Christian Budd with the big advantage. Same to the 2 of Chris Champeau. Oh, Frank going off into the weeds and into the side of Brian Pizzakemi he went. Chaos back here. Let's have a look at what happened. Going down into turn 1. Looks like he just had a little bit of a brake lock up. Either that or Matt Horton possibly getting into the back of him in the braking zone. You see Frank's all kinds of locked up, trying to make sure he doesn't hit anyone. How he missed James, I have no idea. Straight into the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. 33 Matt Horton hits him a couple more times. That's a quad tap at this point. Fizikemi goes through the gravel. Massio goes through the gravel. Niederhelm into the grass at the very least. Marquez into the gravel. And everyone else behind getting through unscathed. Oh, except for Sam, who got a tap from Matt Horton on the way through. Back up to the front of the pack, there is James Watson now. He's stuck in fourth at the moment. There's Christian Budd leading the way from Chris Champeau. He's got 0.7 of a second over Chris Champeau. These early laps are generally pretty hard to navigate. James Watson went wide in turn 5. We're going to keep eyes here because the 50 of Christian Budd had a lock-up. There's someone stranded on the track in the moraine sweep. I think that was the 5 of Mark Pentacuff. But this is the battle that is well and truly on right now. The 50 of Christian Budd versus the 2 of Chris Champeau. You've got Thomas Harmon sitting right there in third behind these guys. As we're going to go and turn the standings on for everyone to see. And remember, this is all down to their starting positions there. Not an actual reflection of what's going on. Not until they all start crossing the start-finish line anyway. But the 5 of Mark Pentacuff has been having some more issues. He's well behind the rest of the pack. As we have some hashtag pockets of excitement starting to form. Look at this group of 3 right now. Well and truly out and in the lead. And look at the run that the 2 of Chris Champeau got in turn 1 that time. He was going to look for a move into 3. Wasn't going to get it. Looks like there was a move going on behind as well between the 21 of Chambliss and the 39 of Watson. Looks like Watson just let Chambliss go past. Let's go have a look at this battle coming into turn 5. Almost nothing separating these 3 drivers. The glowing brake disc and Thomas Harmon up the inside of Chris Champeau. And Chris holds on the outside. And this is his sponsored event here today. And such a beautiful car is that Chris Champeau number 2. But he's also now 1.4 seconds behind Christian Budd. James Watson looking like he wants to try and get his way back around Brian Chambliss. These guys at the tail end of the top 5 and Chris, oh sorry, not Chris, Brian. Oh, and he's still sitting in the middle of the track. He's trying to get it turned around. See what happened to Brian there coming out of the kink. It's all looking good here. Does he just get loose or did he get into the grass? That's what we need to know. There's a curve hit. Oh, I see what's happened. He's hit the curb too early and it's pushed him out far too wide. He did get the grass. He tried so hard to save it. James with the massive heads-up driving. Look at him dodge. And unfortunately, 21 Brian Chambliss, whammo! All 4 tires in the air. And that car is now at least a foot shorter than it was. Let's just keep an eye on Brian here. Make sure nothing else happens as he backs into the wall. Well, if the front's going to be fucked, then sells the back, and then he pulls the trigger and it takes it to the pits. Back up the front of the field. Still Christian Budd leading the way by half a second over Chris Champeau. And about a second behind Chris is Thomas Harmon. Christian Budd now makes his way through up into turn 6. This is a great track for elevation change. Not as good as my hometown track of Bathurst, but pretty damn close. Got the rise and the fall, it's got the sweeping corners and the technical sessions. They even got a couple of decent straightaways. And not so straightaways. Oh, and I think we've lost another one, the 13 of Travis Massia. See what happened to Travis here down in turn 5. And judging by that little rewind we just did, Travis just getting it all kinds of wrong, trying to take all the track to use the advantage, and you see he's got a big lock up on that left front. When you lock up a tyre like that, the car just will not turn at all. They'll try and modulate the brake a little bit to get that thing to spin again. Made it all the way out to the gravel. Oh, he even did a little jump. So lucky not to hit Jonas though. That was so very close. As the other drivers get back around him. Back up to the action at front. There's definitely certain sections where Christian is better than Chris, but Chris is also better than Christian. But the gap now has just gotten much bigger. Looks like Chris did not get a good run through Canada corner that time. We make our way into the final corner, turn 14. And Chris actually closed up on Christian a lot in that final corner. Looks like Chris just really favors the medium to high speed corners, where Christian is better in the slower technical sections. Here they go now, thundering down the moraine sweep into the hard braking zone of turn 5. Be Chris using all the track and then some. Look at the closing rate. He's brought that gap back massively. As Christian Budd burred his rear tyres a little bit, that's definitely going to slow him down. Oh, and wide for Christian as well. Everything that he can do wrong, he is doing wrong right now. These three still very tightly packed together as here comes the move for the lead. Big lock up as well for Chris Champeau. Couldn't quite get up his nose up the inside though. It was there briefly. James Watson in fourth. He's trying to catch up to this battle. A little bit of side-to-side contact there between Champeau and Harmon. Well, Chris probably thought there was a little bit more room than there actually was then. And look at the closing rate that Chris has. That Christian has on. No, Chris has on Christian. As I said, we had a week off. My brain's gone to mush. Especially with the events that have been happening this week for me outside of iRacing. See, Christian just better in this middle sector than what Chris is. Fast lap of the race actually done by Kyle Kraus at the moment. A 2:13.180. Should be expecting pit stops are around about halfway. Depending on how far these guys can go in a tank. See the 38 Thomas Harmon looking around trying to make a move. Not going to be able to get there though. Let's see what Chris can do this time. Oh, wait. What's going on for Thomas Harmon there? Thomas Harmon in the pits. Did he have some kind of issue or something? Or did he just make a random dive for the pits? Oh, he got loose. Got loose on the exit and it kind of spat him towards pit road entry. That is very unfortunate for Thomas. Now, does he stop and take fuel here? Or does he just keep on trundling on? That is the ultimate question. He's still actually in fourth right now. There's some pretty big gaps forming throughout the whole field. And he does take a pit stop. There you go. Let's go back up to keep an eye on this battle up front. Oh, and this time Chris is the one who makes the mistake. Going wide in turn 5. But they both went slightly wider than they should have. But Chris definitely lost out bigger than what Christian did. I'm hearing that Thomas also had a pit entry violation, so it's a 40-second hold. That's put him all the way down in 11th. As this battle towards the front continues to rage on, James Watson just been slowly chipping away at these guys every single lap. I'm not saying he's setting the world on fire with his lap times, but he's been chipping away at them ever so slightly each and every single lap. He's actually within a second of Chris Champeau. Chris. Oh no, Christian. Made a mistake in turn 3. He's run wide. That's put him all the way back to third. That's put Chris Champeau into the lead of his namesake race. James Watson right on the tail now of Chris Champeau. He's no longer just battling for a podium. He's battling for a win here. And now Chris has made a mistake. And he made it all the way into the tyre barrier. He's going to drop from first down to third. These guys got a big enough gap that he's not going to get troubled for the third position just yet. But the race-changing landscape. This has put James Watson into the lead now by 4.5 seconds over Christian Budd. And as I said, he's not setting the world on fire with lap times here. His last lap was a 16.9. Now focus on crashes to see what we can see. Carl Kraus started in the pits all the way up into 4th position. Got Brian Pizzakemi on his tail. Chris Champeau just up in front of these guys. I say just up ahead. He's 7 seconds ahead of these guys right now. See a lot of people. Oh, big lock up for Santiago Pizzakemi. How did he hold on to that? I was going to mention on the braking zone there for turn 5. A lot of dirt and dust being picked up on the road. People running it too hard. But for right now, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be heading towards green flag pit stops. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to Road America for the Champ Speed Shop 101 right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. James Watson still leading the way and by a decent margin. But it looks of things, we only have 11 cars left in this race. You can barely see James throughout all the trees here, which mysteriously stopped for no apparent reason. There's James right now on track, and he's enjoying a 5-second lead over Christian Budd. Travis Masia is in the pits. Oh! And what an incident we've just captured. Go back and have another look at that. This is coming up to the Hurry Downs. Turn number 8. This is just before the carousel. Looks like Frank's taking it a little bit too hard. Gotten into the gravel trap just ever so slightly. And into the grass. The grass is deadly for these cars. Just instantly sends you sideways and... oh, nowhere to go for the 23 of John Lazelle. Straight into the fence. Now that is going to severely hurt both of these cars, unfortunately. It looks like Frank gets back on track and they continue on. But Frank now is going to be under pressure from Jonas Marquez. And Chris Champeau, who has already come in and made a stop on this lap. But Chris Champeau tried to pull the undercut here by pitting earlier. And look at Chris go. He is all over the tail of Frank. Frank, as I said, carrying a bit of damage from that contact that he just had. Frank taking the very defensive inside line. Probably not realizing that Chris has pitted already. And there Chris goes just around his outside. And now he'll toddle off away and into the distance. Still looking at Frank. John Lazelle is in the pits after that contact with Frank. But Chris Champeau currently in P5 once more. And it looks like we've got 2 retirements, Brian Chambliss and Matt Horton. There's Thomas Harmon going for a quick excursion in the grass on the exit of turn 1. And there's our leader, James Watson. Nearly 6-second gap he has over Christian Budd. As he goes and puts a second lap down on Mark Pentecoff. Now Mark goes into the pits. John Lazelle, who is still in the pits, is going to go a lap down. Now James enjoying a 7-second gap over the P2 Christian Budd. We saw Mark pulling into his pit box. There's Chris Champeau. Looks like he might have just had a little bit of a mischief. That was kind of the corner, turn 12. James navigates turn 5. He's just in cruise control mode right now. There is Chris Champeau, currently sitting in the 4th position, no, 5th position. Hoping this undercut strategy will work for him. He now gets around Mark Pentecoff once more. Oh no, Chris Champeau's made a mistake. What happened to Chris here? This is coming into the hurry downs. Turn number 8. And just gets loose on exit. It's a slight little tap with the tyre barrier. And Chris continues on. But not without Frank Isaacson now being on his tail and looking hungry for a good result. There's a 38 of Thomas Harmon. Currently trying to chase down Sam Niederhelm. These guys will soon be battling it out for P8. Well, Sam Niederhelm experimenting with some alternate dimensions, not wanting Thomas to catch him. You can see he takes the I'll let you by line there on the inside of the front stretch, allowing Thomas through. Thomas trying to catch the let down John Lozelle. Go see if we can see what's going on. Oh, Sam still blinking out a little bit. The two of Chris Champeau catching back up to Mark Pentecoff. Oh, and off the track goes Mark right in front of Chris. And he made it all the way to the wall. It's not good. There's 78 Brian Pizzicami now starting to catch up to Chris. Brian wants a piece of that 4th position, and he's got the opportunity right now. Chris made a mistake in Canada corner. Oh, and around goes Lizelle once more. What happened to the 23 car this time? This is coming out of the carousel and into the kink. Did he do Chandler's trick from earlier? No, no curb. Just maybe a little bit too much speed. And that is a solid contact with that inside wall. But that is unfortunately John Lizelle's day done. Possibly. Back to this battle between the two of Chris Champeau and the 78 of Brian Pizzacami. Brian looking to the inside of turn one. He breaks really deep. There's a lockup. Chris holds on. How long can he keep Pizzacami behind him for is going to be the ultimate question. Into turns 5 and up the hill to turn 6. We've seen Chris being pressured into mistakes. We've also seen Chris just generally making mistakes. And somehow Kyle Kraus is in the lead. I think that's because everyone else is pitted. These guys are effectively battling over the tail end of the podium for sure. As we now reach the halfway point. 13 down, 12 to go. Here for the chance Speed Shop 101 from the Road of America circuit. It looks like Pizzacami has just lost that little bit of fight that he had. Kyle Kraus has come in and out of the pits. Currently in P5, just in front of Frank Isaacson. These two are going to be willing to trade punches for this. James Watson with a huge lead over Christian Budd. Christian Budd only 5 seconds up the road from Chris Champeau. So Chris has only just now reached turn 12, kind of the corner, as the 39 of James Watson was in the final corner. That's how big the gap is. James enjoying a 16-second lead over Christian Budd. As we go crawling ever closer to 2/3 lap distance. Brian is doing everything he can to try and catch up to Chris here. It seems that nothing is quite good enough at the moment. I said Chris has a lot of strong points on the track as Pisakemi gets loose and into the fence slightly, and he's not going to be able to stop for turn number 6 into the tire barrier. He went nose first and he pulled the pin and decided to tow it to the pits. You see just behind him, Jonas Marquez decided to go for a pit stop as well. Oh, and we've lost Jonas Marquez. What happened to Jonas? Like, he just came out of the pits as we saw. Oh, and he hit the wall coming out of the pits. That was the weirdest thing. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before, especially not here. And I think his engine just went boom. Maybe not. Still some drive left in it yet. But that is very unfortunate for Jonas. As you see, that car is not handling well at all. It's crabbing down the straightaway. We cut back to our leader, who is enjoying a 15-second lead over Christian Budd. And Jonas back off the track once more, this time at turn 5. As I said, that car is handling really evilly right now because of that contact he made with the wall. But now we've got 15 and a half laps complete. We're going to go to another commercial break here. When we come back, we'll be going to the checkered flag to make sure you guys stay tuned. We are back here for the Champ Speed Shop 101 here from the Road America circuit. As you can see, absolutely no one at all is around James Watson, our leader. And he'll be absolutely spitting chips that he could have had a winning interview and he's not going to be here to have it. All the good things happen when I do recorded broadcasts or next day broadcasts rather than live. You can see just in front of James here is a couple of lap cars. That's Mark Pentacup, who's going to go a third lap down, and Travis Massia, who's on the tail end of the lead lap in ninth. In fact, he's on the tail end of one lap down in ninth. And there was Mark Pentacup locking up big time into turn 5 and shooting off the circuit. But while we got everyone here like this, let's go for a crank it up. Alrighty, we are back from the crank it up. Just in time to see Frank Isaacson going off at turn 8, that one is. That's heading into the carousel. Very quiet cameras here at Road America, because a lot of them are positioned very far away from the cars. So I'm not sure how worth it that crank it up really was. We're still looking at Frank in the 24. He's in P6, which is good. There's Kyle Kraus currently holding on to third as he gets around Mark Pentacup. And he is enjoying a 3-second lead over Chris Champeau, who has dropped back to 4th. We currently have 4 retirements from the race. I mean, Brian Chambliss, Matt Horton, John Lozelle, and Jonas Marquez. So your complete top 14 order: it's Watson, Budd, Kraus, Chambliss, Harmon, Isaacson, Niederhelm, Pizzacchemi, Massia, Pentacup, Marquez, who was out, Lozelle out, Horton out, and Chambliss out in that order. As we continue to look at the 2 of Chris Champeau here on screen. And Pizzacchemi is actually 2 laps down. Thomas Harmon goes for a little bit of dirt tracking action. That was coming out of the kink. like a few of the drivers going down the first gear for turn 5. As we now head on to our leader, James Watson. I think next lap around we're actually going to do a onboard lap with him so you guys can actually see what it's like looking out of these cars around this road course. You've seen plenty of the outboard footage, it's time for an inside view. As we are coming up on just 6 laps left to run. And everyone is all strung out. There is no one who is racing around anyone else right now. Fastest lap of the race still belongs to Kyle Kraus at 2:13.181. Second best lap time of the race actually belongs to Chris Champeau, 2:14.9. As James is making his way up the front straight now, let's jump on board with the number 39 car. Backs out of it really early to make sure he can handle the corner. Down to second. Down to second again for turn 3. And here comes the carousel. Just holding second gear for the carousel. You hear the throttle control going on for it as well. He doesn't want to slide the car out at all. Very committed through the kink. Up into 4th. Will he get 5th? No, not quite into 5th. He starts heading uphill again to finish off the lap with 13 and 13A. And up to the final turn, turn 14. Up through the gears again, and that is a lap of Road America, one of these snarling beasts we call the next gen NASCAR. Now there is just 5 laps left to run in this race. And James has gone off. James big time went off. This is going to close the gap between him and Christian Budd. Not sure by how much, but that's definitely going to affect him big time. That's going to be a knock to his confidence. He's still somehow holding on to it though. I think something happened to the 13 as well, Travis Masia. He was off in the marbles. What happened to Travis here? He's got Christian Budd in the distance behind him. All right, here we go. To braking zone for turn 1. And it looks like he just doesn't get it pulled up in time for the corner. He's already sideways before really getting into it. Then he locks up. He gets oversteer, then understeer, and then no steer as he heads into the gravel. And he managed to keep it out of the tire barrier, which is good. Oh, and Christian Budd's taking it off the track. What happened to Christian? Yeah, this is coming around turn 3. And that car was very unsettled coming around the corner. Just super sideways he goes. And does he loop it all the way or just half the way? Just half the way, just a little drift. Gets it onto the grass, now you head back onto the track. And Kyle Kraus has actually taken over second place now. Kyle Kraus snuck up around Christian Budd while Christian was playing in the weeds. There's a 38 of Thomas Harmon in 5th. 25 seconds behind Chris Champeau. As Mark Pentacup has gone off the track again, this time at turn 3. We keep looking at Chris Champeau now. He's catching up to Travis Massier in the 13. Travis not quite looking settled there as they hit the braking zone for Canada corner. In fact, he's gone off the track. Kyle still in front of Christian. And by about 4.4 seconds. It looks like James Watson has been bleeding even more time. Now it's only 9 seconds between himself and Kraus. Sam Niederhelm got out of the way for him. Just 3.5 laps left to run in this race. See Travis Massier there, the 13, just driving very gingerly around the track. James Watson still playing the part of the Pied Piper out in front. So it was Sam Niederhelm behind him that went off the track slightly. And just 3 laps to go this time at the line. I'm going to have to check, but I don't think that our Mr. James Watson here has actually ever had a win. Oh, wait, who was that was off in the weeds? Brian Pizzacchemi off in the weeds. Let's see what happened to Brian. He's in 9th place, 2 laps down. He just carried too much speed into turn 6. Got on the grass. Saved it there a little bit. Got in the grass on the other side. Still saved it. He's got dirty tires. And then just locks up completely in turn 8. And all the way into the fence. He had managed to wash off a lot of speed though before he did that. Go back to looking at James Watson. He makes his way down the moraine sweep. Into turn 5. Now 6. Which leads into 7. Oh, Christian Budd with another big mistake. This mistake cost him a hit with the wall. Big lockup in turn 5. Still can't get the car stopped as he makes it onto the excess road there. And he just gets sideways in the marbles and sends it over into the outside fence. Gets it turned around and keeps going though. Good. Still keeps him in front of Chris Champeau. Also allows Kyle to hold on to that 2nd place. But mistakes starting to catch up to some of these drivers. A bit of fatigue. Oh, Kyle has gone around. What happened to Kyle? This is going through the kink. Way too much speed. That is a big impact with the wall. Big impact with both walls. And around it goes. And he definitely lost a lot of time to Christian Budd, who also hit the fence in the kink. Also carried too much speed, but he didn't spin it out. He used the wall as a guide to get going. Now we have a battle for 2nd. But off the track again goes the 60 Kyle Kraus. This time he well and truly beats this one into the fence. So that means that the battle for 2nd is now off again. And in fact, he pulled the pin and decided to tow the vehicle. In fact, he might have Alt F4'd out of this race. Christian Budd now clean and clear in second. Here's our leader with just a sum of 1 lap and 3/4 to go. Sam Niederhelm getting a little bit sideways there through turn 3. Can this race get any weirder in this last lap and a half? There's Brian Pizzacami catching up to Mark Pentecoff. Good news for Kyle is he won't actually lose that many positions. He'll probably only drop to about 7th if my calculations are correct. And I think Mark Pentecoff just hit the incident limit. So now he is going to be finishing 10th no matter what. There's second place Christian Budd. It's all going to be about this man. The 39er James Watson as he makes a way through the final sector for the penultimate time. Turns onto the main straight and it's going to be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for the 39 of James Watson. Fred the Flag Marshal, not exactly exuberant in his flag waving abilities right now. As we could still have a battle for second on our hands here. James goes off in turn 5. He's meant to be taking it easy on the last lap. Can't believe what I was seeing. I was meant to be looking at his stats here. I got distracted. As he's coming through the carousel for the final time. So if he can get the win here, this will be his first win. He makes his way through Canada corner for the final time. He's only got 2 more corners to negotiate. There's 13B. And there is 14. Up the pit straight for the final time. Your winner here for the Champ Speed Shop 101 from Road America. The 39 of James Watson. I did say this fight was still going to heat up between Christian Budd and Chris Champeau. In the final corner they go. These guys are close actually. Chris Champeau does have the opportunity to try and make something of it. He might not be able to with the damage he's got. And Christian Budd's going to hold on the second. Chris Champeau in third. But there is our winner, Mr. James Watson. and he'll be absolutely elated with that. We're just going to wait for everyone to cross the start-finish line. Looks like we're just waiting on Pizzacemi and Frank Isaacson. A little bit of a congratulatory peekaboo there from Sam Niederholm. But no burnout for James Watson. He's too cool for school. There's Frank. He's going to be the final one of our finishers as Pizzacemi has just crossed the line. And up the final straight, he comes for the final time too now. And Frank's actually going to get top 5 out of this. 1 lap down, 5th place to Frank Isaacson. Well done, Frank. All right, guys, that is race over now. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, I know what I said. It was time for driver interviews, but I'm an idiot and forgot that, the race didn't actually happen right now. So we do have one interview lined up. Very excitable one, I do believe it is. So we're just going to go through our top 3 as it is. There is no hard charger for this race, actually. Only 3 people managing to get lap times in with such a tight timing constraint. Only 5 minutes were offered for qualifying, so only 3 people managing to get times in. But your 3rd place getter here today is today's sponsor of the race as well, Chris Champo. Don't forget to go visit Champ Speed Shop. I'm sure he will have some kind of a deal going on. You can also catch him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Champ Drives Cars. Our 2nd place getter here today, Usually we see him on the top step of the podium, but this time only in P2. It's the slow car himself, the number 50 of Christian Budd. And Christian tried to put up a good fight, but a lot of mistakes there late in the race really kind of hampered his run at trying to have a crack at James. And, James wasn't completely innocent in all that himself, having a few mistakes here and there. And I don't know what that is on the front of Christian's car, but yeah, that's something. Coming up next, and the only person we actually have available for an interview, we're going to have today's winner. Well, actually, yesterday's winner, the 39 of Mr. James Watson. James, are you there, mate? Do you hear me?
Hold on. I can't hear you. Bring.
Oh, something went wrong. Try and bring him in again. Hello?
There we go.
Hey, it works. James, your first win here with the Output Racing League. First and foremost, mate, how do you feel?
Oh my God. I still can't. I still can't believe it at all. I the the competition level in this league is absolutely ridiculous. I honestly kind of made peace with the fact that I would probably never ever win a race here. So to actually win and at Road America of all places, I am absolutely shocked and thrilled and excited. All of the above.
Now, it definitely looked like a little bit of a race of attrition out there today. We had quite a few people DNF, especially towards the end of the race. But what was it like for you just trying to mitigate any mistakes or, just making small mistakes here or there?
Yeah, I knew from practice that it was gonna be it was gonna be a war of attrition. I knew that if I could get consistent and just keep the car on the track, I was gonna come away with a good result. Because Brian ran a 13 in practice, but for the most part, everyone was doing 2:15s. So if I could do it on a consistent basis like I did, I knew I was going to be in good shape. Not that good a shape, but yeah, I knew something was in the cards.
Now, what was it like trying to, fight throughout the field here? Because, qualifying got a little bit messed up with it only being a 5 minute quali. So only, yourself and two other people were able to get lap times in. So, what was that like for you?
I knew that I had a good opportunity to put in a consistent lap, and given the amount of time and knowing that someone was gonna make mistakes, that I could kind of sneak my way into a pole if I could just put in a good lap and keep on the track, and that happened, and it didn't last long because I had no idea that you wanted to restart the race in first. I thought it was going to be second, like we do in every other track, but clearly that wasn't the case, and I just got swamped and managed to avoid the the first lap incident with Frank and Matt narrowly, and after that and power sliding through turn one on lap two, I was really able to find my rhythm and get a good pace going, and I started to reel them in. And when the top three had their issues, I was sitting pretty, just doing lap after lap, keeping the car on the track until five to go.
All right, mate. Now let's look forward to next week. Next week, we're going to be going to the Homestead Miami Oval. What's the feeling like for you as we head into Homestead?
I don't I don't seem to do good at mile and a half. Obviously, Homestead is nowhere near your traditional one, so I might do a little better there, but I'm not really expecting anything great. I'm just hoping to kind of get a top 10 and keep keep myself with a good chance to make the playoffs here.
All right, mate. Well, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to my main place of employment, Rocket Racing Setups. Use code Watson15 for 15% off. Gotta thank National Racing Network, Martin Sports. They make great sim racing gear. Their specifically made sim racing gloves are the absolute best you can get. Check them out at martinsports906.com. Brand new website. I gotta thank ZAS Designs also for doing my scheme, and MTWR Landscaping.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, James. Congratulations on your first victory here in the Output Racing League, and we look forward to seeing what
Woo!
you can do next week when we go to Homestead.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
All right, guys. That is today's winner, the 39 of Mr. James Watson, and as you can hear, absolutely excited, as he should be. But that is going to end off our broadcast here for today. Thank you all for coming out. The replay of this will be available tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, American, because it's going to be going up at 7:30 a.m. for me. So, guys, until next time, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you guys next week when we go to Homestead.